Moving along, we got more breaking news, this time out of Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas gum bumping wide receiver Stefon Diggs has just suffered a season ending torn ACL. Stefon, I think we might be surprised, full PPR on ESPN. Wide receiver 8 on the season, so the gum bumping was warranted. 47 catches for 496 yards and 3 tutties on the season. He currently leads Houston in receptions, receiving yards, and is tied in receiving touchdowns. Now we know Nico Collins. He's been on the IR over the last 3 weeks with that hamstring injury. I haven't heard much from him if he's going to be eligible to come back or not. What do you think about Stefon Diggs going down with the ACL, and what does this mean for Houston?
Yeah, that's it's not good for Houston. They haven't looked good through these first 8 weeks, anyways. So they really need all the help they can get on the offensive side. CJ Stroud is starting to struggle. I think defenses are figuring out what he likes to go to, and he's having to go to third and fourth reads, and he just can't get there quickly. And he's lost. You mentioned Nico Collins is out. It does sound like there's a chance he could be eligible for next week. They seem to think that he could work his way back, but still used to have so many targets there. Noah Brown is gone now, so he's left with Joe Mixon coming out of the backfield.
Your guy.
Tank Dell, who's been iffy for him as of late.
Yeah.
It's going to be rough sledding for the Texans going forward without Diggs.
Yeah, I think it's Houston's division to lose. Definitely that AFC South is bad, man. Houston's six
Yeah.
and two. Houston's 6-2, so I'd be shocked if they don't make the playoffs. This is a big loss for him. Definitely Stefon Diggs. The gun bumping is warranted. He's a bona fide big dog on the outside there. You mentioned Tank Dell. Only missed one game this year. Wide receiver 58. Oh my goodness. I was really high on him. I think there's a big opportunity for him. Big opportunity for him. Jack, if you got Tank Dell on your fantasy team, are you looking to trade Tank Dell, or are you like, man, this is CJ Stroud's number one guy now. I'm gonna hold on to Tank and see what happens. What are you doing?
Uh, it's tough. He hasn't looked good. He's still fast, he's electric, but I feel like I've seen him drop a few balls that he should have brought in. Um, so it would be tough. I think you need him to have a big game and you could trade him for some more value. I'm not sure if people would really go for him right now. And Nico is expected to come back
Yeah.
eventually down the road.
Mhm.
So it would be tough to trade him right now, but if he has a big week this weekend, that would be somebody to try and move before Nico returns.
You mentioned your guy Joe Mixon. Oh man, even more work for him coming. Points per game basis. He's missed 3 games if I'm not mistaken. Running back
Yes.
one on the season. Joe Mixon. Running back 1 points per game, boys. And I think Dalton Schartz, as we like to
Yeah.
call him on this podcast, because he's tight end 25 on the season. He's played in every game. Tight end 25. I think he might be streamable moving forward. Jack, any thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I'd agree with that. Titans were tough early, but I feel like lately they've been performing better. So it's a little bit harder, I think, this next week to pick the right guy. It's hit or miss with tight ends.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a steady guy, so he could be one to go to.